Hi, welcome back. My name is John McKeel, and I'm the author of the little book, James, the Brother of Jesus Speaks. In our lesson for today from James chapter 5, verses 1 through 6, James has a warning for the rich, and before we think that applies to somebody else, for most Americans, compared to the rest of the world, we are rich. So let's listen carefully as James continues to talk to us today. Pride is an especially prevalent sin for the wealthy. We suspect they have a lot to boast about, but James responds they often have much to answer for. Come now, you rich, weep and howl for the miseries that are coming upon you. Your riches have rotted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver have corroded, and their corrosion will be evidence against you and will eat your flesh like fire. You've laid up treasure in the last days. Behold, the wages of the laborers who mowed your fields, which you kept back by fraud, are crying out against you, and the cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. You have lived on earth in luxury and in self-indulgence. You have fattened your hearts in a day of slaughter. You've condemned and murdered the righteous person, and he does not resist you. James chapter 5, verses 1 through 6. This is one of the places where James sounds most like his older brother. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus said, "No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money." Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. Preachers are often quick to point out money is only so much stuff, paper or silver or gold. Paul said, "For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evils. It is through this craving that some have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves with many pangs." 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. Paul also warned that an elder must not be a, quote, lover of money, 1 Timothy 3:3. And the Hebrew writer advised, "Keep your life free from the love of money, and be content with what you have, for he has said, 'I will never leave you nor forsake you.'" Hebrews 13, verse 5. So why are people so in love with money? Ask an American what money means, and 9 times in 10 he will say that it is synonymous with freedom, that it opens the doors of feeling and experience, that citizens with enough money can play at being gods or do anything they wish, drive fast cars, charter 4-masted sailing vessels, join a peasant rebellion, produce movies, endow museums, campaign for political office, hire an Indian sage, toy with a conglomeration of companies, and drink the wine of orgy. No matter what their income, a depressing number of Americans believe that if only they had twice as much, they would inherit the estate of happiness promised them by the Declaration of Independence. If you want to know what's important to a person, look at what he spends his money on. Money has the potential to do great good. Can you imagine you had a chest full of eyes and hands? What would you do with them? Hang them on the wall? Save them in case you might need one in the future? Or would you give them to people who need them? When does money become what Jesus called mammon? When we are impressed by it. The apostles were in great danger when they were in the temple watching the wealthy making their contributions. You could read about it in Luke chapter 21. Jesus used a poor widow to teach them an important lesson. Money becomes mammon when we begin to make exceptions for the rich. See Leviticus 19, verse 15. When we adopt business is business attitude, and when we put our faith in money instead of God. We see this when we just throw money at our problems or use money as a means of atonement. That's called guilty giving. I hurt you, so let me buy you a fill in the blank. So what can we do about the love of money? For some, like the rich young ruler, it will mean giving it all away. Luke chapter 12, verses 13 through 21. For others, it will mean adopting an attitude of gratitude. For all of us, it will mean being accountable to God for how we make our money and how we spend our money. Use your money wisely. God has blessed you, and we are stewards of his good gifts. We'll see you in our next lesson.